Something strange is happening inside your brain, and you probably haven't noticed it. You sit down at your desk, determined to work, study, or create something meaningful. You tell yourself that today will be different. You are finally going to focus. But 5 minutes later, your mind starts drifting. A small notification pulls your attention away. A random thought about something unrelated appears. You suddenly feel the urge to check your phone just for a second, and somehow that second turns into 30 minutes of scrolling. Then you look back at the task in front of you and wonder the same question millions of people ask themselves every day. Why can't I focus? Why can't I finish something even when I know it matters? Most people believe the answer is simple. They think you are lazy. They think you lack discipline. They think you just need more motivation. But the truth is much more complicated. Your brain is not lazy. It is not broken. It is not failing you. Your brain is adapting to the environment around you, and it is doing exactly what it was designed to do. The problem is that the world your brain evolved for is completely different from the world you live in today. Your mind was designed to survive in an environment where information was limited, where distractions were rare, and where every new signal could mean danger or opportunity. But now your brain exists in a world where thousands of new signals compete for your attention every single day. Notifications, messages, videos, advertisements, and endless streams of information constantly demand your awareness. The system that once protected you has become the same system that prevents you from focusing. Today, we are going to uncover why you can't focus even when you try. We are going to look inside the hidden mechanisms of attention, understand how modern life is changing the way your brain works, and discover why focus is not simply about willpower. Because once you understand the system controlling your attention, you finally have the ability to take control of it. To understand why focus has become so difficult, we first need to understand what attention actually is. Your brain is not a passive machine that simply receives information. It is constantly filtering, predicting, and deciding what deserves your awareness. Every second, your senses are receiving millions of pieces of information. The sound of a car outside, the feeling of your clothes against your skin, the movement of objects around you, the thoughts inside your own mind. If your brain tried to process everything equally, you would become completely overwhelmed. So your brain developed a system that decides what matters and what can be ignored. This is called selective attention. It is one of the most important abilities humans have. Thousands of years ago, this system was essential for survival. Imagine one of your ancestors walking through a forest. They hear a small movement behind a tree. Their brain immediately shifts attention toward the sound. Is it an animal? Is it danger? Is it something useful? The ability to notice changes in the environment helped humans survive. Novelty mattered because new information could change everything. A strange sound could mean a predator. A new path could lead to resources. A different person entering your environment could mean either an ally or a threat. The brain evolved to pay attention to what was new, but this created a weakness. The human brain was never designed for endless novelty. It was designed for occasional important discoveries. Yet modern technology has created a world where novelty never stops. Every time you unlock your phone, your brain enters a new environment filled with unlimited possibilities. A new message, a new video, a new headline, a new image, a new piece of information. Each one creates a tiny signal telling your brain, pay attention, something important might happen. And this is where the real problem begins. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a meaningful survival signal and a meaningless notification. It simply sees something new, and something new has always been important. But the most interesting part is what happens next. The reason your phone is so difficult to ignore is not because you enjoy every single thing you see. Most of the content you consume is average. Some of it is even boring. The reason you keep coming back is because your brain is chasing the possibility that the next thing might be better. This is where dopamine comes in. Many people describe dopamine as the pleasure chemical, but that explanation is incomplete. Dopamine is not simply about feeling good. It is deeply connected to motivation, anticipation, and reward prediction. Dopamine tells your brain, this could be valuable, pay attention. Imagine you are scrolling through short videos. The first video is boring, so you swipe. The second one is slightly interesting, so you continue. Then suddenly you find a video that makes you laugh or surprises you. Your brain remembers something important. The next swipe could be amazing. This creates a powerful loop. You are no longer searching for the video you are watching. You are searching for the possibility of the next reward. This is called reward prediction error. When something is better than expected, the brain creates a stronger response because it has discovered something valuable. This same mechanism helped humans search for food, opportunities, and resources. But now the same system is activated by a glowing screen in your hand. And this is why focusing on slower activities becomes so difficult. Imagine a student sitting down to study after spending 2 hours watching short videos. The textbook has not changed. The information is not less valuable, But compared to hundreds of fast emotional rewards arriving every few seconds, studying feels almost invisible to the brain. The brain starts asking, why are we doing this slow activity when something more exciting could happen right now? This is not because the student is unintelligent or lazy. The reward system has simply learned a different expectation. But dopamine is only one part of the problem. Another hidden mechanism affecting your focus is something called the default mode network. This is the part of your brain involved in self-reflection, imagination, memories, and internal thoughts. When you are not focused on a specific task, this network becomes active. It is the reason your mind wanders while walking, showering, or lying in bed. Normally, this system works together with your attention networks. When you need to focus, your brain reduces unnecessary internal thoughts and directs energy toward the task. But constant distraction changes this balance. When your brain is trained to constantly switch between information, it becomes harder to remain in a deep focus state. The moment a task becomes slightly uncomfortable, your mind searches for an escape. A difficult paragraph becomes a reason to check your phone. A challenging problem becomes a reason to open another tab. A moment of boredom becomes something that must immediately be removed. The brain starts learning a dangerous pattern. Discomfort means escape, and over time, this destroys your ability to sit with difficulty. The strange thing is that many people mistake this for a motivation problem. They think they do not care enough, but often the real problem is that their brain has become trained to avoid any moment where reward is delayed. This is why you can spend hours watching videos, but struggle to focus for 20 minutes on something important. The issue is not that your brain cannot concentrate, it is that your brain has learned where to place concentration. Modern environments also make this worse because many digital systems are designed around capturing attention. Social media platforms, notifications, and endless feeds use the same psychological principles that naturally attract human attention. They provide constant novelty, unpredictable rewards, and immediate feedback. Every notification creates a small interruption. Every interruption forces your brain to switch states, and switching has a cost. Your brain does not instantly return to full concentration after checking something. A part of your attention remains attached to the previous stimulus. This creates a state where you are physically working on one thing but mentally still connected to many others. Think of attention like a spotlight. When it is focused on one object, it becomes powerful. But if you constantly move that spotlight between hundreds of different objects, nothing receives enough energy to become clear. This is why multitasking feels productive but often creates the opposite result. Your brain is not doing multiple things at once. It is rapidly switching between tasks and paying a hidden cost every time. Consider someone trying to finish an important work project. They open their computer, begin writing, then check an email. They answer a message, look at a notification, return to the document, and repeat. By the end of the day, they feel exhausted but cannot explain what they actually accomplished. Their brain has been active the entire time, but attention has been fragmented. The same thing happens outside of work. Someone wants to read a book, learn an instrument, or start exercising. These activities are not impossible. They simply require something modern life rarely rewards: patience. Deep activities create slower rewards. They require effort before satisfaction appears. But a brain trained on instant stimulation begins interpreting this delay as a problem. Reading feels boring. Learning feels frustrating. Exercise feels uncomfortable. Not because these things became worse, but because the brain has changed what it expects. The good news is that this process works in both directions. Your brain is not permanently damaged. It is adaptable. The same ability that allowed it to become distracted also allows it to rebuild focus. The first step is learning to tolerate boredom again. Boredom feels uncomfortable because your brain has become used to constant stimulation. But boredom is not an enemy. It is the space where creativity, reflection, and deeper thoughts appear. When you remove constant input, your brain begins generating its own ideas again. The second step is training attention like a skill. Focus is not something some people naturally have and others do not. It is something that strengthens through repetition. Reading, writing, practicing a skill, or working on a difficult problem all teach the brain that delayed rewards are valuable. The third step is creating boundaries with technology. You do not need to eliminate your phone completely. The goal is not to reject technology. The goal is to stop allowing technology to control your attention. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Create periods without digital stimulation. Make your phone something you intentionally use instead of something that constantly calls for you. The fourth step is becoming comfortable with discomfort. Every time you resist the urge to escape boredom, frustration, or difficulty, you teach your brain something new. You teach it that not every uncomfortable moment requires immediate relief. You teach it that focus is possible. Your brain is not your enemy. It is an ancient system trying to survive in a world it was never designed for. The reason you struggle to focus is not because you are weak. It is because your mind has adapted to the signals it receives every day. The question is not whether your environment is influencing your brain. It already is. The real question is whether you understand the system enough to influence it back. Because once you understand how attention works, you stop seeing yourself as someone who lacks discipline. You start seeing yourself as someone who can retrain the machine inside your own mind. This is cognitum void, where we uncover the hidden systems shaping human thought, behavior, and reality. If you have noticed your attention changing over the years, if you find yourself struggling to enjoy slower activities, or if you feel like your mind is constantly searching for the next distraction, share your experience below. Because sometimes the first step to changing a pattern is finally understanding the invisible mechanism behind it. Your brain is not broken. It is simply waiting for you to understand how it works.